Elsagate. Starting around 2016, parents and journalists began noticing a disturbing pattern across YouTube Kids. Thousands of videos featuring popular children's characters like Elsa, Spider-Man, and Peppa Pig were placed into bizarre, inappropriate, or violent scenarios, often mass-produced using templated animation software. Many used official-sounding channel names and legitimate character imagery, making them nearly indistinguishable from real children's content inside autoplay queues. Because YouTube's algorithm at the time prioritized watch time over content review, some of these videos accumulated tens of millions of views before ever being flagged. The term Elsagate itself originated from a single Reddit thread compiling dozens of examples, which then rapidly spread across parenting forums and news coverage. In response, YouTube eventually overhauled its Kids app policies, removed thousands of flagged channels, and introduced stricter filtering specifically for children's content. Even so, similar exploitative patterns using different characters continue resurfacing periodically, showing the underlying incentive was never fully fixed. The Slender Man stabbing. This incident had real, serious consequences. In May 2014, two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin lured a classmate into the woods and stabbed her 19 times, later telling police they did it to prove loyalty to Slender Man, a fictional character that originated from a Photoshop contest just 5 years earlier. The victim survived after crawling to a nearby road for help. Because the girls described genuinely believing Slender Man would harm their families if they refused, the case sparked nationwide debate about children's relationship with online horror content. Court evaluations later found both girls showed symptoms consistent with early-onset schizophrenia, complicating the idea that internet content alone caused the attack. Both were eventually committed to psychiatric institutions rather than prison. A character invented purely as collaborative internet fiction, with zero backstory attached at creation, had by that point spawned an entire mythology, several video games, and ultimately a real crime that made international headlines. Bloody Mary and the Troxler effect. Long before social media, children were already daring each other to say Bloody Mary 3 times into a darkened bathroom mirror. The legend promises a vengeful spirit will appear, sometimes said to scratch or attack whoever summoned her. The ritual experienced a resurgence through YouTube challenge videos in the early 2010s, with creators filming themselves performing it alone at night. Because many viewers watched these videos by themselves, often in the dark, the line between staged entertainment and genuine fear blurred surprisingly easily. Some versions of the legend tie Bloody Mary to real historical figures, most commonly Mary Tudor, though no documented connection has ever been established. In reality, psychologists point to a well-studied phenomenon called the Troxler effect, where staring at your own face in dim, flickering light causes the brain to distort facial features, creating the illusion of a different or unfamiliar face. No supernatural entity is required, only a mirror, low light, and enough time for the effect to occur naturally. Charlie Challenge. In 2015, the Charlie Challenge went viral almost overnight, dominating global trends within a single week. The game involved balancing a pencil across a paper grid marked yes and no, then asking a supposed Mexican demon named Charlie questions and watching the pencil move on its own. Terrified reaction videos flooded social media, with some students recording classroom panics after the pencil appeared to answer unprompted. The panic grew large enough that several schools sent formal warnings home to parents. However, the physics behind the trick are simple. The pencil sits in a deliberately unstable position, meaning tiny air currents, table vibrations, or unconscious hand movements are enough to shift it on their own. The demon folklore has no real historical basis either, and researchers eventually traced the specific viral format back to a marketing campaign for an unrelated horror film released that same year, engineered to spread like an organic challenge. Momo Challenge. In 2018, screenshots began circulating of a grotesque sculpture-like figure with bulging eyes, claiming to be a WhatsApp contact called Momo that instructed children to complete violent or self-harming tasks. Panic spread worldwide after reports claimed the figure was being spliced directly into children's videos on YouTube Kids, hidden between innocent cartoon clips. News outlets ran national segments warning parents, and some schools sent home formal safety notices. However, extensive investigation found no verified case of the challenge actually harming a child anywhere, and no confirmed instance of Momo content genuinely appearing inside YouTube Kids' recommendations. The image itself was traced back to a sculpture called Mother Bird, created years earlier by a Japanese special effects company, with no connection to any challenge whatsoever. Researchers eventually concluded the panic was a modern moral panic, almost entirely manufactured by news coverage itself, making the media reaction the actual source of childhood fear, rather than the image.
Skibidi Toilet and algorithm horror. While not a traditional creepypasta, many people cite early, unfiltered YouTube autoplay as a defining online experience, especially the feeling of drifting from innocent cartoon videos into disturbing, algorithmically recommended content with no warning. Before YouTube introduced a dedicated kids interface, autoplay cues could lead from animated shows directly into unrelated horror clips, bizarre videos, or misleading content featuring familiar characters. Many viewers, especially those watching alone, believed these sudden transitions were an intentional part of the experience, rather than the result of an unpredictable recommendation system. Years later, that same sense of algorithmic unpredictability resurfaced in a completely different form through Skibidi Toilet, a surreal, fast-paced animated series that spread primarily through YouTube Shorts and TikTok recommendations. Its rapid editing, absurd humor, and strange non-human characters are often described as capturing the same unsettling feeling of unexpectedly being shown something bizarre without any warning. Rather than relying on traditional horror, it reflects a newer kind of internet unease, one created by recommendation algorithms that can instantly shift from ordinary entertainment to something completely unexpected.